Members of the Indian diaspora in all parts of the United Kingdom, I offer you my warm greetings. As our people in India and all our brothers and sisters across the globe celebrate our 74th Independence Day, there is equal enthusiasm, if not more, I'm sure, among us all here in the United Kingdom. In Indian communities across the world, one often hears a common refrain. We may have left the shores of India, but India never leaves our hearts. That is so true. Wherever we may be, we look forward every year to the momentous flag hoisting and the message to the nation of our Honorable Prime Minister, inspiring us to forge ahead in every sphere, striving for Atmanirbharta in every way. On this day especially, we are reminded of the vision of our founding fathers and the sacrifices that they made for the bright future of the coming generations. And the traditional message of the Honorable President of India, Shri Ramnath Kovind, on the eve of our 74th Independence Day has already been posted on our High Commission's website. It's an honor for me to deliver it to you, to the Indian community in the UK. Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi's address to the nation from the ramparts of the Red Fort this morning has also been directly telecast and is carried on our mission's social media handles as well. Today, India is proud to be the world's largest functioning democracy, with significant achievements in realizing the economic, social, educational aspirations of her people and attaining astounding technological progress, including our indigenous civil nuclear energy and space programs. These make us proud, but they spur us on to do more. Today, our people are direct stakeholders in innovative initiatives for participatory governance, and we are inspiring developing countries around the world to do the same. The launch of the world's biggest health assurance scheme, covering 500 million people free, the world's biggest financial inclusion scheme, involving the opening of 370 million bank accounts for the poor, the world's biggest digital identification program, and the world's largest toilet construction campaign of over 110 million toilets. These are but a few examples. With these done, India has set for herself another set of new goals to go further. For example, promoting water conservation, enhancing India's road infrastructure, eradicating tuberculosis, and building millions of residential units for the poor. These are some of our present-day priorities. From Kashmir to Kanyakumari, from Somnath in the west to the furthest point in the east in Arunachal Pradesh, India is an example of unity in diversity, a free and open society facing its numerous challenges soberly and addressing them effectively in a transparent manner. At the global level, we are playing a leading role, collaborating with the international community in addressing challenges including climate change, terrorism, food security, sustainable development, transitioning to renewable energy, energy security, to name a few, and we are working to safeguard multilateralism with other countries, a rules-based international order, rules-based international trade with WTO at its core. Now, more than ever, we feel it is necessary to reform international organizations to make them more effective, and India is one of the foremost proponents of this goal. With the UK, India has a unique relationship based, of course, on a shared history and a common vision for our future cooperation. Our Honorable Prime Ministers have spoken about the new post-COVID, post-Brexit priorities that we will work on together. And we in India look forward to welcoming Right Honourable Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, His Excellency Mr. Boris Johnson, to India soon. India's External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar, and His Excellency Foreign Secretary of the UK, Mr. Dominic Raab, are leading this dialogue and our joint efforts in a variety of sectors. From healthcare to IT services, defense and education, to the space sector, our agenda indicates that sky is not the limit. In a poll conducted during a recent panel discussion, the majority of the participants, I would share with you, voted for India-UK focus on partnership in the manufacturing sector. And I was glad to hear that, because that is where our strength lies. There are more than 850 Indian companies in the UK with a total revenue of about 45 million. They've employed more than 105,000 people. There are 65,000 companies owned by Indian diaspora with a combined revenue of more than 36 billion pounds, creating over 174,000 jobs. But there are many other facets that numbers cannot illustrate. And therefore, there are many more powerful factors which are not always seen or quantified. And this is exemplified in the form of the Indian origin doctors and nurses who fought valiantly against COVID at the front lines. Many unfortunately risked their lives while seeing to it that others lived. Indeed, this power is felt when Indians and eminent PIOs offer solutions and leadership in the private sector or in government. And this radiant power shone through when you, our countrymen and women here in the UK, threw open your doors and your hearts to help students and others during the lockdown. This is the spirit of our diaspora, not only a living bridge, but a loving bridge. High Commission of India also complemented the selfless efforts of our diaspora, and we worked day and night to help more than 28,000 stranded Indians reach their homes in India and to bring back over 14,000 British citizens. And we continue our efforts. We hope to help the remaining numbers get home soon. At this time, when so many societies are struggling to counter misinformation, which is a new kind of weapon with mass application, I would only urge you to avoid receiving, acting, or promoting doubtful content in any way. Dear members of the Indian community in the UK, our High Commission has received hundreds of messages of badhai, greetings from individuals and associations in every part of the UK. We cherish your patriotism and your warm sentiments, and we reciprocate them, and we send you our best wishes. This year, I would say, we shall have to be careful, follow local regulations, and avoid unnecessary social contacts or moving with large gatherings. Our first priority is to be responsible citizens and protect ourselves and our families from any untoward situation. I therefore request you all to do everything you can to keep good health and a high morale. In fact, I strongly encourage you to adopt the fitness strategy launched by the Right Honourable Prime Minister of UK on a hero cycle made in India. And I look forward to welcoming you back to the High Commission of India soon. You're home away from home, and I really hope that's as soon as possible. Meanwhile, the High Commission of India and its officers and personnel, we all remain at the service of our community, supporting your endeavours, wishing you continued success and prosperity. And today we wish you all a very happy Independence Day. Jai Hind.
Namaste. On this special occasion of the anniversary of India independence, I would like to extend warm greetings to the Indian community living in Belfast and throughout Northern Ireland, and to Image Nation, NI and Sanjay for organising this celebration. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Indian community for their immense contribution to our city. The Indian community plays a full role in the economic, social and cultural life of our city, particularly in growing knowledge economy, our tourism, leisure sector, and of course on the front line in the battle against COVID-19 in our National Health Service. It is important that we recognise the work all our communities do in developing and enhancing Belfast. In good and in challenging times, whether it is supporting the vulnerable in our communities or coming together at the Belfast Mila or Diwali to celebrate each other's traditions. We are privileged that so many of the Indian community call Belfast home, and we wish you well and hope you enjoy your celebrations. Thank you and stay safe.
Namaste, Jai Hind, Happy Independence Day, and welcome to the celebrations organized by Image Nation and I, Mr. Sanjay Ghosh. My name is Pushpender Singh, and I'm an entrepreneur by profession. I live in Northern Ireland, Derry, Londonderry, UK. I belong to a strong army-based family rooted from India, Himachal Pradesh. My family has given their lives and blood to the nation, and we're still at it and strong. It gives me immense delight to talk with India's leading selection expert of forces, the real hero, the real gentleman, the real superstar, retired Major General VPS Bhakuni, with 37 years of experience as a commanding officer in armed forces. He has participated in various successful operations like Pawan and Rakshak in Jammu Kashmir. Just before retirement in 2019, Major Bhakuni sir had assumed the responsibility of Commandant Selection Center for South to select officers for Army, Navy, and Air Force. Now we are going to talk about his experience, achievements, discretions, and valor. Let's cut the long story short. हमाद सर के पराक्रम, उनकी अचीवमेंट्स, उनकी वीरता और शौर्य की कहानी, उनकी जवानी. जय हिंद सर, and happy independence to you, sir.
Jai Hind and very, very happy Independence Day to you all.
Thank you so much.
I really respect your feelings sitting in a country which is far from India, yet you have the josh to celebrate Independence Day. That's wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. You're welcome. So, sir, as I said, we want to talk about your experience and achievements. So there's few things we wanted to know about you and your career throughout the Army and after retirements as well. So why did you choose Indian Army, sir? Were you forced to join Indian Army, or was it your own passion or your own decision, sir?
Okay, you started off with that. Let me tell you, I belong to Uttarakhand, and I belong to a very, very remote village in Uttarakhand. Okay, and my entire childhood was in the village, and almost 60% of the youth were in the armed forces. So every time, every year, I used to see numerous of them coming back on leave or going back from leave. So they used to all talk about the armed forces. And that was the time someone said, when I was in class 3, our village has got about 36 soldiers, but none as an officer. So I told myself, I'm going to be the first Indian Army officer from this village. And that was the dream which I, carried along right from class 3. And I think it is that dream and that passion for the dream which made me an officer.
This is a great story, actually. So
Yeah.
it was your passion. Great to know. How was your experience throughout this journey? Please tell us about your little experience about, you have spent 37
Yeah.
years in the army. How did you find
Yeah.
being?
Pushpinder, as you will agree, from a village boy, the journey has been just wonderful. I joined as a Jawan. The journey became all the more beautiful. It is a journey of a village boy to a Jawan and the Jawan to a General. It's been a long, very interesting story of ups and downs. Being from a very remote village, my education was in the village itself. So my biggest struggle was with English language. You can't become an officer if you do not know the English. The reason simply is officers' language in the armed forces, because you have troops from all over the country, people from all over the country, is English. So you got to learn this language. So my biggest struggle has been with English. Now you'll be very surprised to know. Imagine when I came to the city in the 7th class, someone asked me, "How old are you?" You know what I answered very proudly? "I am not old." And many times I became a laughing stock, in the sense, in the 12th class, when I was a football captain,
Great.
I used to encourage my team players, and I used to use this word terrible and terrific interchangingly. I used to tell them, "What a terrible game you played. I'm so happy with you." And they used to wonder, yeah, whether to cry or whether to laugh at me. So anyway, I joined the army as an apprentice in the lowest rank. If you have a dream in your eyes, you can do anything in your life. I firmly believe in that. And I joined it, can you believe it, from apprentice training school, Bhopal. Within 2.5 years, I did my graduation privately, appeared for All India competition as a candidate, like any civil candidate, and cracked the examination of the CDS. Went for the first time for the interview of the CDS Combined Defense Service so that to become an armed forces officer. But I was the only candidate out of the 14 who spoke in Hindi completely, because I couldn't. And obviously, I had participated very confidently, but I failed. And I came back. I asked one officer, I still remember his name, Major Jyothi, "How come I failed? I had worked so hard." He said, "Bhakuni, if you do not know English, even the God can't help you." And that words were really which affected me. And from that day only, I was an anti-English activist type. I, never liked this language. I felt the British has imposed this language on us. And from the very next day, I started loving British, loving English, and loving everything which is related to English. And within 6 months, I got myself trained in this language, and I cracked the exam again, went for the interview, and this time came with flying colors. Can you believe it? The deputy president of the board who interviewed me and said, "Bhakuni, you are a soldier in the army, and you are from a remote background. I can see by your data. How did you learn English?" That kind of compliment I got. Anyway, so that was the initial struggle, and that's how I became an officer in the Dogra regiment.
Wonderful experience. I'm really delighted to know about your passion about it, and the way you had transformed yourself from like a remote guy to an officer. This is brilliant, unbelievable, sir. Sir,
Thank you.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about your operations that we heard that you have been participated in various operations, sir. So we're not gonna ask for everything, but just a quick overview, because my dad was the part of one of your operation, that was Pawan.
Yeah.
In Sri Lanka, isn't that right, sir?
Yes.
So, yeah, tell us about that operation about Pawan, sir.
Okay. Firstly, let me tell you, once I joined the army, I was really desperate to see action. I loved action. And one of the things which I will tell you about me, I used to pray God before I got the commission. God, I don't mind dying young.
So you
provided,
hardcore, yeah?
provided
Yeah.
provided my death is an action and as an army officer. That is the two conditions I have to put to the government. I said, I don't mind dying young. So I was loving action. So I volunteered for Operation Power. And once I went there, it was a wonderful experience for about a year. That is the place where I came under fire first time. I knew what happens when you come under fire. And that is the time on 30th of May, 1989, I had an opportunity in an encounter to eliminate myself two dreaded terrorists or militants, whatever you may call them. And one of them was the area leader of that place. So we had such wonderful experience. And can you believe it? I shot him down with my carbine gun, strain gun, and he was hiding on a tree. And when he fell down, he threw a grenade towards me. And look at my luck, and he forgot to take out the pin. So he forgot to take out. Later on, once he was killed, I saw his body falling down from the tree, and then another body falling down from the tree, and they were dead. I was sure that there is nobody else there. And when I went along the troops, I saw the grenades there. And poor chap had threw one grenade towards me, but he forgot to take out the pin in the hurry. So that was one of the beautiful experience. Yeah.
What was your state of mind, when you saw them guys, they were there and they were hiding and ambush you, and was it different feeling altogether? Were you scared at all, or were you just really wanted to have a fight? Or
yeah, one is not scared, one is a bit cautious. Of course, you got to be cautious on such kind. Your life can go, and you are a leader. If you go, it will affect your troops as well. But since you love action, you wanted to see something, and you want to be counted. How you can be counted in the army? If you show some bravery act, if you eliminate terrorists, if you kill militants, then you can be counted. People will respect you. Like in the football, you got to score a goal. In army, you got to kill a militant or a terrorist to be counted. So I was desperate to get counted. So here, I got my first kill. So I was blooded into the battle, and had, people started saying yes. And the first time my luck was I shot down the area leader of that place. Selection was his name. Along with his bodyguard, his name was Ashokan. So I remember this. So it was a beautiful action. So this kind of thing do happen. And it was a very enjoyable kind of experience. After that, people congratulate you so much.
As a civilian, I cannot even express my feeling, the thing you have done. As you mentioned, sir, about leadership, as you were commander in the operations, I'm going to ask about leadership and planning is their tribute to the military successes.
Yeah.
In your experience, which is more important, a better plan or a better leader, sir?
Let me tell you, Pushpender, both are important, but undoubtedly, if I have to choose one, I will choose the leader. Leaders, the way they implement, the way they execute, having a bad plan can be executed by the leader in a manner where he can guarantee you success. But it can't happen other way around. If you have a good plan, but a bad leader, it is bound to fail. The leadership in the army is entirely of a different kind. The leader has to lead by example. It happens only in the army. The leader has to be the first one. The leader has to say that, follow me. And once he says that, people will be there. They will line up behind the leader. If he cannot say that, if he is the one who's following the troops, then who's going to bother about it? I can give you hundreds of examples, just to quote you two examples only. You see, Kargil war, everybody knows. Bikram Batra, when he was given the task to capture that hill, don't you think he knew very well that perhaps he is not going to come alive? He knew that the task is so difficult that most of his troops are going to be killed. And he told them to write a letter to their homes. Can you believe it? All the troops, before they went for the operation, wrote a letter to their home, which their families received after their death. And that's how Bikram Batra led that attack himself, and he captured that, because the stakes are so high that individuals do not bother about their sacrifice also. Because look at the stakes. If Bikram Batra fails, the whole nation fails. Whole nation fails. India fails. So if the young officer's shoulders, you have such heavy responsibility, the lives of the soldiers under him, don't you think that he is going to be extra brave? Do you think he's going to bother about his life? Hundreds of examples, and I can quote examples after examples. So it is the leadership which matters the most. A bad plan executed by a good leader can turn the tables. Okay. So, and however, I do say that even along with the leadership, if your planning is sound, then of course the chances of success are going to be far more. That's why in the Indian Armed Forces, we lay too much of emphasis on planning. And when the plan is being discussed, it may get rehearsed thereafter. Many suggestions are asked, and we are open to give our views. But once a concrete plan has been worked out and decided jointly by everyone, and after that, it can't be changed, then we got to ensure its execution at all cost. So while planning, we will go through the pros and cons, seek people's opinion, rehearse that plan if need be. So, and that's how we ultimately going to finalize it and then execute it.
Very good. So, well, we can learn from Army, we can implement these things in our social life and our professional lives, leaderships and plannings, important in and out. Great. That is good. I'm going to talk about the tremendous work you're doing at the moment after retirement. So, as we all are aware of your work, sir, the great opportunity, the great platform you're providing to the youth to become an armed forces officers. What do you think about it? How motivated our new generation is? They want to join Army as an officer? Are they looking to see their career in the Army, or what do you think when you see these new generation coming to you, sir?
Yeah. Pushpender, there are 3-4 issues. The first is, let me tell you this. Even some of the Indians may not be aware. Today, the armed forces is the most popular service. If you look at the annual report of the Union Public Service Commission, you'll find maximum youth applying for the armed forces. In fact, the selection rate of the Army is the least, or the toughest examination which they have to crack. The selection rate of the interview alone is just about 3.6%. So hardly anybody gets selected. It's a very, very difficult selection because the selection process is for 5 days and different officer-like qualities are checked in that. But let me tell you, it is the most popular service. The youth are now vying for the Army. They want to, their first choice is the armed forces. I have no doubts. Not me who says that. Union Public Service Commission annual report says that. It can be checked up. You can Google it and you'll be surprised to see that how popular armed forces is in India. The second thing, go ahead.
I'm gonna get a pause here for yourself. See,
Yeah.
I can understand because I belong from Himachal and North, and everybody back home, they're passionate to join Indian Army. Even I tried to get an Air Force, but I couldn't make it. I wasn't lucky enough, unfortunately.
Yeah.
My brother is one of the best commando in India at the moment. He's in Special Force. My elder brother has cracked CDS twice, but he couldn't get selected. So I just wanted to ask, the way he was telling me, there were 100 of boys were selected from all over India, and he was one of that in the CDS troop. So he was in SSB, but he said at the last, they only selected 1 out of 30 people or so. Why is that? Why do you not choose? Are they not capable physically, mentally, or why is it so hard to get in there?
Yeah, Pushpender, I do agree. The selection rate is the toughest. Even the civil services can't really compare with the armed forces selection system. The simple reason is you are selecting leaders in the armed forces. It's a personality-based test. It's a personality-based test. You've got to have a personality of an officer who can really stand in front of the troops, who had got all those core qualities and those officer-like qualities, so that he is found to lead the troops both in peace and war. So for that, the entire testing process is very, very elaborate. And it will keep happening. That's the reason, can you believe it? In spite of such a large line of youth for armed forces, look at this, there are virtually 9,000 plus deficiencies in the army alone. Air Force and Navy are generally okay, but army, there are 9,500. What prompted me to open this institution was, one, right from my childhood, I realized that the better coaching is not available for this. You know, people cannot be guided and coached towards this. One was that. I thought, okay, I will fill the gap. Second thing, I also, since I was the head of the selection system, my job, as you said, was selecting officers for the Army, Navy, and Air Force in the South India. It was located in Bangalore. And very interestingly, it is the same board where I got selected from way back in 1979. I became the president of the same board after 35 years. It was quite an, sort of achievement for myself, and I really liked it. So I wanted to give this kind of credible support and guidance and mentorship to the youth. And that's what exactly I did. That's why our institution is already a big hit, and large number of youths are taking guidance from us. And can you believe, in the last 5 days, we have 6 candidates getting selected. I got 6 calls, and their photographs are in my Instagram. Can you believe it? In the last 6 days, 5 guys have already got selected. Sorry, it is 5, not 6. It is other way around. In the last 6 days, 5 guys have got selected. So we are getting wonderful results, and it is really, and since it was my interest on this, I did a course on this, and I was posted, had an experience at the top level of the selection system. I understand the selection system ins and outs. I know how to guide the youth, what exactly they lack, and how they can be trained to crack the examinations. Every one of them can crack, but the time which they will take will be different based on their personality status as of now. But they can crack if they have a dream, if they have a passion, they can certainly crack the examination. Yeah.
Oh, you are the best example for that, as you have mentioned earlier. You're from remote area, and you wanted to join it, and you wanted to be a commanding officer, and you have got it, sir. You have achieved really. I can't even express something, and the support you're giving to the nation and the army as well, to providing this great platform to the youth to join Indian Army, which is really commendable, sir. This is wonderful, something to do. And I wish I was there in India and I had something like this when I was young, back in days, and join your services, and I could have make it, but well, it's all destiny. Thank you so much, sir. And would you like to say anything about youth and nation, any message?
Frankly, I will say that, Pushpender, you guys are also doing a great job. Look at this. I respect and I salute your spirit. The guys who are sitting in England, it shows your love for our country. I will only say them that the youth also have to learn from you guys. Why you guys? Because they are learning from armed forces, of course. But you still are thinking of our country. You are still thinking of your roots. Because I feel if you forget your roots, what happens to a tree without roots? You are just like that. We should never forget our birthplace, never forget our roots. We need to go back. If we cannot go back, mentally we should be there with the people of our own country, remain with them. Otherwise we'll become rootless. What a great saying I remember in this. How can a man die better? But fighting ferocious odds for the ashes of his fathers and for the safety of his temples. That kind of dialogue I suddenly recollected. How can a man die better? But fighting ferocious odds for the ashes of his fathers. See, if your land is so much better, what can be better but fighting for your own land, own forefathers, where everybody has been there, staying there, coming back to that land again and again, reviving those good old memories, contributing something to the same land itself is a great achievement. My only message through you is this, that never forget your roots. Remain in touch always, and let me tell you, you'll become a better man. Yeah.
That's what we learned from Army. A normal guy, they can make a gentleman. A gentleman, they can make a Superman. So army is a big inspiration in my life, and there's millions of them back home or all over in the world. Army is being inspiration, and it's a big organization. They're providing the best quality of life, the best joy of the life. I think the normal guy cannot even dream for that. We're really thankful to you, sir. And before we go,
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
it was nice chatting with you, sir, to know about your experience and achievements, sir. We wish you all the very best
Yeah.
for your
Thank you.
SB Sure Shot Academy.
Yeah.
And
Thank you, Pushpender, and thank you, and through you to all the guys sitting out there, including Sanjay, who has an assured role in Bollywood. Let me tell you this. You can tell him again. So thank you so much, all of you. Thank you. Thank you so
sir.
much.
Jai Hind.
Jahan, Jahan. Thank you, Jahan. Thank you so much.
Thank
So
you.
I'm logging off now.
No worries, sir.
Okay.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़